another good one. I'm back with another good one. Yes, yes. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this. This is part one. This is part one of designer Rick Owen. That's right. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this situation because you know why we're gonna talk about this? Because over and over and over and over again, we have these individuals are disrespecting the indigenous descendants of the earth and of America. Of the earth and of America. This is true facts. So let's talk about this. First and foremost, if you look at my thumbnail, right? At the bottom of my thumbnail, right? On the top of my thumbnail, you see the Rick Owens with the fat laces, and then on the other side, you see the ADIDAS. You see the ADIDAS with the fat laces, and then at the bottom, you see an indigenous descendants serving and holding what it looks like a platter with drinks on it, and you hear people in the back laughing. Now, they dress like they slaves, and they dress with no shirt on. This is an actual true fact. Yeah, this is what they do to you. They humiliate us, steal your style, and then have you dress up like you a slave, like you came in bondage and in chains and in shackle. This is what it is. This is what it is. And they get a lot of us that don't understand our what? Our descendants, our ancestors, right? And who we are. They get a lot of us to do these sick, barbaric, devil demon acts for money. For money. You understand what I'm saying? For money. This is what we call this. Now, I don't know, but to my knowledge, this is called what? What is this called? House nogums. Now, I'm not saying that these individuals, that was there at these events as house nogums, but this is disrespectful. This is disrespectful to able descendants. And you know why this is disrespectful? Because we disrespect ourselves. As long as we don't know who we are, and we don't know each other, right? Individuals, right, are allowed to come in our culture, right? And indigenous descendants of the earth and of America to disrespect us because we don't know who we are. Now, this guy Rick Owens, right? This guy Rick Owens is the designer of these sneakers and shoes. Rick Owens with the big laces. Let me tell you something, right? He got this style from back in the 80s. Back in the 80s where they was wearing gazelle glasses, when they was wearing rope chains, name chains and rope chains, right? When they was wearing Lees, L-E-E, Lees. Yes, that was back then. You understand what I'm saying? When people was riding around with mopeds, when they was wearing 2-finger rings, 3-finger rings, 4-finger rings, that was that style. Wearing Kangos with the big laces and the shell top Adidas and the Pumas and the Nikes and all that. That's all he did. That's all he did. He took that style, right? Modified that style and upgraded, right? And like, here, y'all, look what this is. And these entertainers promoted him. They promoted him. And a lot of the generations, right, the new generations, not saying they didn't know that this style came from the 80s, but a lot of people didn't know. This guy made millions and millions of dollars off taking this style from the inner city kids that uplift this style in the b-boy stand. You understand what I'm saying? This is where this came from. And I want people to understand that this guy right here, right at this event, was being disrespectful. Rick Owens. And if your guys buy another pair of his sneakers or shoes, shame on you. Shame on you. Yes, shame on you. You shouldn't even support this guy right here, man. Like he had people, the indigenous descendants walking around serving drinks. And then you can hear the people in the back laughing. They was laughing. They was laughing. The people they was partially naked. They didn't have no shirt on. They looked at like servants and slaves. This is an actual true fact. So let me ask you, Rick Owen, why you didn't have nobody else doing that? Why you didn't have nobody else dress up like that? Why you had these the indigenous descendants dressed up, right, serving drinks and everything else for you in your event? In your event. And this is nasty work. This is nasty work. And what's gonna happen is that as long as we keep wearing this stuff and making these individuals rich, they're going to keep on disrespecting you and us. At the end of the day, the beginning of the day, and the middle of the day. Rick Owens, that was nasty work. That was nasty work. I don't care if you want to sit there and say, you know, I'm an artist. It just was an art form. Now, I don't know if he dealt with the event and had this event set up, but you're supposed to have motion and movement and check out what's going on. You're supposed to check out the scenery before this thing go on. Well, who's supposed to be doing this? Who's supposed to be doing that? You just don't have nobody to do this. So you're going to leave your business in your hand? I mean, leave your business and your business and your work in somebody else's hand without you going to check it? That was disrespectful. That was disrespectful. So allegedly, right, these, you want to call them black, call them black. I don't call our people black. We are not Africans. We are not Moors. We are not Egyptians. We are not Israelite. We are not none of those things. We are our own civilization over here in the West, in the West, in the West. We are our own civilization. This is an actually true fact. We are called the uply God right ones. We never came here on no boats, on no shackles or anything like that, or chains or anything like that. We always fought for our land. Over here in the West, yes, that they call North America, the West Hemisphere, North America, we always fought over here. We always fought. We always fought and died, like we doing right now. Like we doing right now. You understand what I'm saying? So for this individual to do this is nasty work. And if your guys buy another pair of sneakers from Rick Owen, all he did was took the style of the 80s. I remember the 80s. I remember my brother, you know what I'm saying? That was the time of the mopeds. The mopeds was popping at that time. The mopeds was popping, right? The dope rope chains was popping. Yes, the rope chains, the name belts. Yes, and the Lees. Everybody was rocking Lees back then with the fat laces. ADIDAS, it could be Nikes, it could be Pumas, whatever sneaker that was out, people was putting fat laces in it. And I remember going to the store with my older brother. You would go to the local store, they would have fat laces in there. They would have fat laces in the corner stores. On the bodega stores, they would have fat laces there. You can pull up and grab you a pair of fat laces. And they had all different types. They had white, they had black, they had yellow. They even had the one that was, they had the fetty, the silver fetty and stuff like that. They had the silver in it, the different color. They even had those. So I remember that style. So all he did was took the 80s style and seen how we had motion and movement back then and modified it, right? And then had the entertainers and rappers rock it so he can make money off it. Whether they was partner with him, whether they make money with him or anything like that, this is nasty work. We don't want to hear, oh, I don't know, I wasn't here, I pass us off to my assistant. Your assistant did that. You need to check your assistant. That's right, Rick Owens. Ain't nobody buying none of your stuff no more, man. And then you walking around like it's cool. And then you see at the bottom of my thumbnail, you see the Rick Owens, you see the sneakers right there, right? You see the sneaker with the fat laces, then you see a picture of him. That's him. That's him. That's nasty work, man. That is nasty work, Rick Owens. That's nasty work. Now I don't care if you didn't know or not. That's another wrong message. And maybe somebody did that to disrespect you. Somebody did that to disrespect you. Straight up like that. You know, I remember that. Somebody said I had the fat. That Skippy said I had the fat laces up with the white and black chucker board style. You see what I'm talking about? People remember that. So that's all he did. All he did was modify the 80s style, right? And put the fat laces in it and make it more sturdy back and make it more sturdy now and put the fat laces in and then modified it and then upgraded. That's all he did. That's why everybody was buying those sneakers. Everybody was buying those shoes or sneakers, wherever they was. I never bought them. I never had a pair of Rick Owens in my life. Or I never had a pair of Alisson McQueens, whatever you call them. I never had a pair of them in my life, whatever the case may be, because I didn't like them. I did not like them. For me, I didn't like them. Maybe somebody else liked them. The new generation was rocking them. The new generation was rocking them, you know? Now, I'm not saying that they didn't know that that was the 80s style. That came from the 80s style. But that's exactly what it did. That was slick. And to get money, you had to go to the 80s style. The 80s was popping back then. I remember, you know what I'm saying? The fat laces, the shell top Adidas, the Kangos, the windbreaker suits. I remember those. With the rope chain, I remember those. With the anchor, I remember that. With the gazelle glasses, with the 2-finger ring, with the 3-finger ring, with the 4-finger ring. I remember that style. That was back in the 80s. And that's exactly what he did. That's disrespect what he did, man. Allegedly. We're going to say allegedly. You understand? But regardless of what, that's on his name. That's on his name. That's on his name. It's already out. It's already out, Rick Owens. So please like, share, subscribe, and get all this information out. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So let me show you a video. Let me show you a video. Yeah, let me show you a video. That's, yeah, disrespect. Somebody did it. His assistant, whoever that was working with him, exposed him. Maybe they wanted more money, stuff like that. He told them no, and they set him up to do stuff like that because they was in control with the event. He probably didn't oversee the event. Somebody else did, and they all was teaming up to get at them, to get at him, allegedly. So I don't know what I'm saying, the man racist is not, but you should say, hold on, wait, what is this? Nah, I don't want this right here. This is going to destroy my image. It's going to destroy my name. But you didn't do that. You had time to do that. You didn't care. You didn't care. You didn't care.
We have no enemies. We believe we have no enemies. Because if we believe we had something, it means we'd have to fight. And some of us are not willing to do that. If we believe that we had some enemies, then it means that we would have to stand for something. But one of the major reasons that black folks refuse to recognize that they're enemies of our progress and enemies of our people is because we are too busy looking for approval. We're too busy looking for acceptance from these people. The Japanese aren't looking for acceptance, they're looking for superiority. The Koreans are not looking for acceptance, they're looking for superiority.
You hear the people laughing back there? They was laughing. They was laughing. They was laughing. They was laughing at those indigenous descendants walking around serving drinks half naked. That's exactly what they was doing. Yeah. So I blame I blame Rick Owen for that. This is part one. This is part one. That's nasty work. That is nasty work. And this is how a lot of these major designers, clothes designers, shoe designers feel about a lot the indigenous descendants. They come in our neighborhood and look at the style and watch the style from back in the 70s and the 80s, and then they switch it because these individuals never had a style. They seen that, right? They blend them together. They go from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, blend them together and get you. You be like, oh, this style's fly. This style's fresh. Because they know that we love to stay fresh. There's nothing wrong with staying fresh. And they blend it together to get a lot of money. They look at this, yo, these Nagams, they don't know that they are a gold mine. Black gold, black diamond, black ruby. This is a gold mine right here. You know what I could do with this style? You know what I could do with this 80s style? You know what I could do with this 90s style? You know what I could do with this 70s style? And blend it all together and get money. This is actually true fact. And we procreated this stuff. We procreated this stuff. Yes, we procreated this stuff. That's all he did. That's all he did, allegedly. And this happened and went down at one of his events. You supposed to be spinning around the block, be like, hold on. Nah, I don't want that there. That shows a sign of slavery. And you know, a lot of my consumers and a lot of people that buy my product is the indigenous descendants. And I want to thank them so much. They're not going to say that about you. They're going to say that. That's how they look at you. That's how they look at us. Stop buying these designer, clothes and sneakers and everything else. See, we get this style from hip hop. That's where we get this style from, right? And hip hop has been hijacked. It has been hijacked. Do you understand that? We get these styles from these artists that's representing hip hop. But in reality, a lot of them is sellouts. They sell our styles out. The 90s style, the 80s style, the 70s style, they blend them in. They have partners with everybody else and get money. And don't include us. You understand what I'm saying? This is where these styles come from. And this was generation before us. You know that these individuals are doing that. You could do it yourself. You are creative. You are an artist. You are an inventor. You are a designer by nature. You come from the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything in existence, the Almighty. Didn't you hear in scripture? He said, I am the best artist. We come from the best artists. So if we come from the best artists, the one that can paint and draw the best, what that makes us? We are him and he's us. You understand what I'm saying? We come from the best artists, the best of the best. The same qualifications that's inside of him, which is unlimited, is foreverness, is inside of us, but with limitations. But with limitations. Do you understand that? You got some of the best artists that's in the indigenous descendants. That's right. Do the history, do the knowledge, do the wisdom, do the understanding, and then you will see. And then what after that? After you do all that, do the knowledge, do the wisdom, do the understanding, and then what after that? You could become born. And born being what? Being enlightened. Being enlightened by what? Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And that will uplift you. That will uplift you. That will uplift you. And that's what the Creator says in scriptures. This is an actual true fact. We got to stop playing these games, man. We always got a few bad apples that's doing that. A few bad apples of able descendants that's doing that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I don't know where these individuals from. I don't know. I don't know if they had knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I don't know if they just did it for money. I don't know, but I know it was disrespectful. I know it was disrespectful. You see in my thumbnails and my titles, that's all he did was took that style, man, and modified it. Yes. And I want people to understand that. You are the Alpha Omega, and the Alpha Omega is you. But with limitation. Limitation. What limitation? That's right. He duplicated himself and created you. And created you. Mankind. It's an actually true fact. Your melanin is amazing. Your melanin is amazing. Your melanin is amazing. And don't take it lightly. That's right. It's a key to get to certain things in this universe. Use it. Use it. Use it. Peace, y'all. Peace, 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 peace.